The Mimic is the new villain of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. His backstory is explained in the Tales from the Pizzaplex book series, from his origins, to how he got to the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place and how he infected the Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. It all started with a man named Edwin Murray whose company was bought by Fazbear Enterprises. He was an engineer who was supposed to fix and create animatronics for the many Freddy Fazbear's locations. He had a 4-year-old son, David, who needed attention from him. But due to his job he almost never had time to do anything. One day Edwin had an idea, and for 22 days he worked non-stop to create an animatronic that was supposed to entertain David. The animatronic was made to learn through mimicking. Edwin gets this idea from how David's bed was built to mimic Tiger, David's favorite plush toy. Once finished, Edwin shows the endoskeleton to David and named it Mimic, based on the name of the program, Mimic 1. When Mimic was turned on, he mimicked David's actions. David was quick to learn how Mimic works and began to teach it how to play games. David taught Mimic more things. Mimic even watched them do other stuff such as wearing mascot costumes. Because Mimic couldn't speak, David taught it special hand movements to communicate. David often carried Tiger around, causing Mimic to curve his arms in a way that suggested he had his own. They even created a tiger plush for him to hold. One day David chased a ball into the road and got hit by a white van. The world around Edwin begins to blur together as he mourns the death of his son. After 2 weeks, Mimic climbed up onto the table with his makeshift tiger. Mimic set his tiger aside and used the hand movements David taught him to ask for ice cream. Edwin snapped at the painful reminder of David, and he used a metal rod to repeatedly strike Mimic. He badly damaged him. Eventually Edwin ran out of strength and his anger turned into regret as he cried. Edwin then disappeared for years. Since the company had no news of Edwin for months, they sent a team to clean and repair the mess Edwin made. They fixed and upgraded the Mimic, but he started killing them all since he learned violence from Edwin. The company kept sending teams until they finally had their hands on the Mimic and his program. They liked the Mimic. So they decided to make an entire line of Mimic endoskeletons all with the same program, like if they were a hive mind. They put them in hidden spots of the locations to watch the animatronics perform since it was cheaper than programming their performances every time. Mimic endos were made to change their forms to fit every type of costumes. However, all of the Mimic endoskeletons got scrapped because they were dangerous and saw things they shouldn't have seen. It is speculated that one of them saw Spring Bonnie luring kids. Many years later, during the making of the Freddy Fazbear's virtual experience, the company wanted to use vintage circuit boards to program the animatronics' performances and routines better. They didn't know, however, that one of the circuit boards came from a Mimic endoskeleton. The Mimic 1 program learned informations from the game, and with the possible Spring Bonnie performance one of them had seen in the past, Glitchtrap was created. He made beta testers who played the game like Jeremy lose their minds, attached to Tape Girl's tapes that she had left in the game, started mimicking her voice and then merged with Vanessa's mind, turning her into Vanny. When the Mega Pizzaplex was still under construction, the company wanted to turn the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place into a museum. A van with the new generation of animatronics was sent to the workers so they can use the bots to help with their work. They chose a strange endoskeleton that looked like it survived a fire, it had bent metal ears that looked like antennas, and they thought he was a guitarist. They didn't know, however, that it was the Mimic. They programmed him to break off the limbs and heads of animatronic parts and endoskeletons that they didn't need and to pile them up. At first he was working as intended, but then, he started to do that with humans. He killed lots of workers and the survivors sealed the entrance with concrete. One day some teenagers decided to go inside of the location through a vent opening. When they found the pile of corpses and animatronics, they wanted to escape, but they couldn't, and were trapped there. The Mimic proceeded to kill them in different ways, such as luring them in a room through a radio while mimicking a person asking for help, and hiding while wearing different mascot costumes. He even turned into some sort of spider with 9 legs, with one of them coming out of his mouth and one of his eyes on one of them. Some time later, Vanny used Glamrock Freddy to clear the path to the pizza place, finally opening the entrance again.
I know what this is. I have been here before. She brought me here. I found myself for the first time when I cleared the path. I did not want to, but I had no choice.
They find a massive pile of animatronics and other stuff sleeping, speculated to be the pile of animatronics and corpses that the Mimic created, called the Blob or the Tangle, now come to life. It seems that Vanny put Glitch Trap in the endoskeleton, finally creating Burn Trap. The books are hinting at the corpse being one of his victims. Specifically a girl named Kelly, who was hiding inside a mascot costume that the Mimic decided to wear, thinking that she was part of the costume. The spring Bonnie parts are speculated to come either from what remains of William Afton's costume or from a Springtrap cosplay from the cosplay area of the Pizzaplex. Or maybe it's just another spring Bonnie suit entirely. In the first few years of the Pizzaplex, it was decided to create a structure that looks like a tree in the middle of the Pizzaplex, with its root connected to the AIs of attractions and animatronics. Inside of the tree there was the Storyteller, with a program that helped the AIs and told stories. After years, Edwin came back and worked in the Pizzaplex. He was the one who proposed to make the tree look like a baobab, however he didn't know what was inside of it. What he found brought back horrible memories. They put a white tiger head in the tree. So he began searching what program they used for the Storyteller. It was the Mimic 1 program. He learned that it was used for VR, AR, and arcade games too. He snuck inside of the tree every night. The chairman of the Pizzaplex found out about that and trapped Edwin inside of the tree. When he went to check the tree after not hearing Edwin anymore and after regretting what he had done, he found out that Edwin died because there was no oxygen. The Storyteller then closed the door and trapped him there too, making him die in the same way. The tree was then removed after 3 weeks, but the damage was already done. All of the attractions and animatronics were infected. The animatronics' personalities got amplified because of that. The events of security breach happen. Gregory saves Vanessa from Glitch Trap's control by playing the Princess Quest arcade machines, finally defeating him. It seems that this caused the Mimic to become normal again. Gregory and Vanessa went to the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, now located in a sinkhole under Roxy's Raceway. They sealed the Mimic in the basement by sealing the entrance with concrete again. Gregory and Vanessa proceeded to install Mexas, a security program that was supposed to keep the Mimic contained and hidden. The events of ruin happen. The Pizzaplex collapsed because something tunneled out of the sinkhole, breaking everything. It's likely that it happened because Gregory and Vanessa went to the pizza place and woke the blob up. In fact, it can be found on the surface now. The Mimic starts mimicking Gregory to lure Cassie to him and free him. Cassie deactivates Mexas and destroys the concrete wall. The Mimic is now free from his prison. In the main ending he loses his right arm while trying to catch Cassie. While in another ending he wears a mascot costume and gets scooped. That is all you need to know about Five Nights at Freddy's newest villain, the Mimic. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.